Alright, so we are back here. It is January 11th. Our first session only brought us through 11 days, but that's okay. When we left off, I had all my troops scurrying to their new borders. They were losing supplies and fuel because they hopped on trains and strategically redeployed. But they'll gain them back. They have 3 years or so before the war starts, so no worries. What I'm going to do this time, is go over how to build an order of battle, which I think is something people really struggle with, and it's really not that hard. It's just very overwhelming when you see, you click on your 6-star HQ and there's all these lines going all over the place, and it doesn't make any sense. But we don't have to worry about that because I deleted all of our HQs, and all I really lost is some experience points that won't really matter in the long run. The other thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to move this 6-star down here to Essen. Actually, I'm sorry, I am not doing that. That's where my 5-star is going to go. The 6-star has a range of about 3,000 miles or so, or maybe even 5,000. It's very far. In Europe, it's essentially forever. You don't have to worry about it. In the Pacific or in America, you kind of got to get a little creative. Because a 6-star HQ in San Diego is not going to reach Wake Island. Or if he does, it's going to be real close. However, in Europe, my 6-star general in Hanover here will be able to reach Portugal, essentially. Because Europe's way smaller than people think. So let's go over the order of battle here. I'm going to unpause. Now, the easiest way to do it is to remember that a 3-star HQ can service about 3 or 4 units. You want to leave some units, or you want to leave some spaces open in a 3-star HQ's order of battle so that you can assign new units to it later. However, on the Maginot Line, I know that I'm not going to add much to it because you don't need it. They hold these forts. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight the units you want to be under the 3-star. You're going to click on this button up here that creates a 3-star general. Then you're going to want to assign him a commander, because you don't want your best commanders like Offensive Doctrine Winter Specialist, which needs to be on the Eastern Front. Actually, I need to move him. You don't want him to be down in southern France. So what we want to do is we want to use these Defensive Doctrine guys, especially even the Old Guard ones. These guys aren't going to be doing a lot of fighting, especially at first. So as I scroll through, here we go. Bach von Wolfingen. That's a pretty sweet name. We're going to make him a 3-star. And we're going to move this 3-star back off the front lines because we don't want him on the front lines. So we're going to move him into these hills. Well, we might as well just move him into the city. It's close enough over here. It's not ideal to be that far, but they're not going to be moving. So, 1, 2, 3. Now they're all connected, which you'll be able to see a little better in a second. So we're going to go 1, 2 for this one. Again, let's check it out. We don't want 5 skilled generals manning defensive positions on the Maginot Line. So we're just going to scroll through again. Pick, hey, Fortress Buster on the Maginot Line. That seems pretty good. And you know what? We're going to move him to Stuttgart as well. 1, 2, 3, and I'm doing that by shift-clicking if you are unfamiliar with standard Windows commands. And you don't have to get too picky. My biggest advice for Hoi is just to not stress it so much. You get overwhelmed by looking at all of these icons and numbers, and you know what? A lot of them don't matter as much as you think, so don't stress it out. Oops, I scrolled in my pause screen. That's always embarrassing. So we're going to move him up here. I favor moving HQ units north here because we're probably going to be pushing into Belgium. That way they don't have to move as far. But it doesn't really matter. Alright, I'm just going to do this. Look for Fortress Buster, Defensive Doctrine. Engineer is good. Bader. I gotta remember him. We're gonna put him in charge of one. Actually, this is actually a good one for him, because these units in the northern part of the Maginot Line might actually be pushing against France at some point. Now here, I'm going to break it down a bit. I'm going to be adding a lot of units here. So what we're going to do is, we're only going to put one, and they're going to be primarily offensive units. Because we're going to push into Belgium and the Netherlands. Again, I'm not getting super picky with the doctrines I use. Just guys that are really good, we don't want to put into very low-ranking armies. Now, where is Cone? That noise, remember, we are now wasting 14 points on reinforcement, so we got to reduce that. Put it into supplies. Put it into consumer goods if you need it. Upgrades will also reduce over time, so you got to keep an eye on that. Sweden and Switzerland are teases. They will not join the Axis. They attempt to remain neutral in their finest hour, so don't let that excite you. We want our middle-of-the-road 3-star generals. River crossing bonuses are good here. Engineers, because the Netherlands and Belgium are so full of rivers. But again, you don't have to be picky. It is not the end of the world. We're actually going to link this light armor to that last HQ, which we do by clicking on it, hitting the A button, or the A key rather, or this. We can tell they usually go in order closest to furthest, always, as far as I know. So we link that. That links to him. We're good to go. We could use a unit in Buchholz. I know that infantry was back there, so we'll link him and him. Which built in the furthest one, because I clicked on it first. That was my mistake. Now he has to move, but that's okay. So we'll move these guys to Münster. Again, I don't want to put units in Leer or Papenburg because it's marshland and they will suffer attrition. This is the one HQ I usually leave right on the unit. Just because they're going to move in real quick. I want them close. And I mean relatively speaking, real quick. Since the war will not start for several years now. And that's our last HQ. 3-star HQ on the Western Front. So now, you're thinking, is that it? Not quite. So, as you can see, we click on our 6-star, they're not linked to anybody. Our 3-stars are not only linked to the units under their command. So what do our 3-stars do? Well, our 3-stars need a 4-star HQ to attach to. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the same exact procedure. We're going to highlight our 3-stars. We're going to click on the same button. It's going to make a 4-star. Now the 4-star passes down its bonuses to everyone below them, but at a slightly lesser rate than the 3-star. I believe it goes 100 for 3-star, then like 80 for 4-star, and it decreases the further you go. So again, I want defensive bonuses because we're on the Maginot Line. So we're just going to pick some of our old guard guys because they need work too. And 4 stars can be even further away than 3 stars. And when we get to 5 stars, they can be even further away from the front, and so on and so forth. And we always want our HQs as far from the front line as possible, but close enough to deliver supplies. Now we're moving towards Belgium, so I'm going to look for more offensive things. Logistics Wizard for 4-star I like, because it spreads that supply bonus out to many, many units. And you always want to think about where your units are going to be going. So I can put these 4 stars lower, more south, because these units are going to be moving south. Okay, so now, if we click, we have our 4-star delivering to our 3 stars, which are delivering to our divisions. Now, it looks a little funky up here because we have overlap. Just ignore the overlap. It's not that big of a deal. And also, you can see, you know, this unit is underneath this, so you don't get to see all of the lines. Again, you're going to have to just work with that and realize what is happening. So finally, we have our 5 stars. So we're going to do the same process all over again. We're going to highlight our 4 stars. We're going to click on our icon. We get a 5-star. We're going to give our 5-star some bonuses. And we're going to move him even further back. Finally, we're going to link our 5-star to our 6-star by hitting the A button and picking the 6-star we want, which is located in Hanover. Bam. So as soon as he gets done moving, we'll see our order of battle freshly made. But in the meantime, we're going to do the same process on this front. Again, I'm going to be adding a lot of units, so I want to make smaller HQs for now. Ooh, we can see our descent went up just a little bit because that happened. Didn't notice, didn't get the pop-up, so what we're going to do, that's not really a significant amount. We're going to right-click on our supplies to unlock it. We're going to increase our consumer goods until we lose minus 0.01 a day, and then in 2 days, we will be good. Just checking on our other sliders. We're up to 10 spies. Perfect. So now we're going to move spies to counter-espionage and 1 national unity. Then we are going to reduce our spies counter significantly. I usually get it down to until I'm gaining 0.1 a day, which is roughly 1 every 10 days or 3 a month, which is usually enough to combat your spy attrition. Now I have roughly 4 points of research, or 4 points of leadership that I can pump into research. So we're going to do anti-tank now because you should probably have it, but it's not key. And we're also going to go into our air doctrines, and we are going to... What am I... I'm looking for close air support. Well, 1, we want naval tactics to raise our naval strike organizational penalty, which is important. Strategic bombing... Not the one I want. These are actually better than I remember as far as starting levels go. Germany starts out pretty stacked. It's kind of impressive. Here we go. Transport and strategic bomber. I'm not going to have those, so we're actually good there. We're just going to raise our naval tactics and our port strike. And that will... Oop, we're going to lock... Oop. I went a little too far. Get that back to point 10. Lock it. And there we go. Always check your pop-ups in case something has changed, because it will not pop up again if something has changed in the meantime. For example, if another law was able to be enacted when I wanted, it would not pop up again or make another noise. So you have to be careful there. Our upgrades should be coming off in the next month or so, but we'll see. At least some of them. But let's check out our order of battle. Beautiful. So blue lines are great, white lines are great, red lines are bad, which we don't have any, but I can show you. If I click here and I assign him to one of these units way over there, that means he is too far away to adequately supply him, which we do not want. So with a click of the D key, they're detached. But we're going to build this real quick. I'm not going to explain it as much. I'm just going to restate that I'm going to add a lot of units over here before the war starts. So I'm going to only link one or two units to an HQ. So we're not going to have full HQs, essentially. And we want offensive doctrines over here. Battlemaster is also fantastic. If you're using tanks. As you can see, combined arms bonus 10% is great. I actually like assigning them to my 5 stars on this front for reasons that will become apparent in a later episode. And as you can see, sometimes I forget to click the strategic deploy button and I just move them with shift clicking, which is very inefficient, so don't do that. So something changed. We want to fix it as soon as possible. We're back up to 14 supplies over, so we're regenerating our supply stockpile. Fantastic. Don't want to forget to change him. The other thing we're going to have to do, that is not a ton of fun, but is useful to customize your units. You should always have a division layout that you like. I like smaller divisions for reasons I'll explain later. But some people like really strong, tough divisions that are large. It all depends on your playstyle. Needless to say, I do not want just 3 infantry brigades in this unit. I want at least 4 of something. So we're going to have to change that at some point. But that'll be after our first set of upgrades goes through, I believe. We'll see how it plays out. Again, it doesn't really matter if you move versus strategic redeploy. It gets them there a little faster, but at this stage of the game, it's not that important. Now you may ask why I deleted all of these 3 stars just to bring them back. I just find it easier to organize. It saves a lot of hassle of detaching and reattaching, and again, you only lose a little bit of experience points, which you're going to gain back quickly anyway. Maybe as France, or a very defensive nation where the war comes to you, maybe you don't want to do that. I don't play a lot as defensive nations, so I wouldn't be able to comment intelligently on that. For this guy, I want a good combined arms bonus because I plan on having tanks here. Now this guy would make more sense with this group. And then these guys would be together. We can always sort by traits too and just kind of zoom through and see. Winter Specialist is not bad to have over here. But again, this isn't... Picking your leaders is not going to make or break your game. It's almost more of a preference choice, in my opinion. We're going to move a higher skilled up, promote list finally, and link our 5-star to our 6-star in Berlin. And then we look at our order of battle, no red lines, everything looks good, except for I forgot about these guys. Do I have any transports is the question. Sometimes you start with them, sometimes you do not. No. So these guys are going to stay over here because I'm certainly not going to build any transports. So we'll just link them all together into one 3-star. We will put a defensive doctrine on here because we're not going to move them. They're going to just hold out until my units... Basically, Poland's going to try to push across here, and they're just going to sit there while these guys encircle. But you'll see that later on. Make sure we fix our consumer goods again, which constantly change. That's something you're always doing in Hearts of Iron. If you're not checking your production screen every 5 minutes or so, you're going to wind up losing out on IC. I'm not going to worry about this .01. It's not super vital. But what I am going to do is call this one. Now you can see we have 2 orders of battle. Oop. There we go. Now we have 2 orders of battle that occupy our western and eastern fronts. Very easy. Anyone can do it. I hope this has been helpful. Tune in next time where I'm going to kick up the speed, and I doubt we're going to get to war, but you're going to see more of production, research, and diplomacy. Thanks.